Rebel Moon. Waste of time. See ya. Next video. Alright, but seriously, Rebel Moon. It was supposed to be a Star Wars movie. Zack Snyder pitched this idea to Lucasfilm. I guess instead of calling it the Empire Moon, aka the Death Star, the Rebels got the moon now, Rebel Moon. So it was supposed to be a Star Wars movie, and if you've seen the movie, you can clearly see the similarities. You have the Empire, you have the Rebels, you have blasters, you have lightsaber looking things. Even at the beginning of the movie, instead of a physical crawl of text moving up, the opening monologue is very similar to a crawl. It's bringing you up to speed and sort of building the world for you. They even have a cantina scene with a bunch of these random aliens and all that stuff. The main character's trying to get information. So there are some similarities to Star Wars, but that's it. It's just surface level. It doesn't capture what Star Wars is. And I can't hold that against Zack Snyder for this movie, because guess what? It's called Rebel Moon. It's not called Star Wars. Lucasfilm turned down the idea, and so it shouldn't feel like Star Wars because it's not Star Wars. But you can still see the remnants of the Star Wars inspiration. If you watch this movie, this is clearly 100% a Zack Snyder movie. So if you're a fan of his style, you might like this. Because I didn't find it compelling. Yeah, visually it's a Zack Snyder style. I don't like his visual style. No offense, but I don't like his visual style. Like you could clearly tell the green screen when it was being used. The CG was not good. Everything was overly stylized, like everything was painted on. From what I remember, 300 had that look, but it meshed well. From what I remember, maybe that sepia, that yellowish tone over everything. But it worked better for 300 from what I remember. This reminded me of a better looking, and you guys are gonna, if you're I'm probably gonna get hate for this, but this reminded me of a better looking Justice League Snyder cut, because the Justice League Snyder cut looked trash. That looked horrible. Okay. This looks better than that, but it still is not good. Also, another thing with the way this movie looks, Zack Snyder's obsessed with slow-mo. There's slow-mo literally every 5 seconds. Every single action sequence, the main character's coming up with a gun, slow-mo, because she's leaning back up against the wall. Then she starts running, slow-mo in the middle of the run. Literally like 5 slow-mo shots back to back in one action scene. Another action scene is literally entirely slow-mo. And it makes it stand out too much. It's like, hey, another slow-mo scene, and it gets annoying, and it stands out. And I mean, you want slow-mo scenes to stand out because you use them sparingly and it's really cool and epic, right? But the reason why they stand out in this movie, it's because it happens so much. Every time one happens, it's like, what is happening? Why are we having the slow-mo scene here for absolutely no reason? So they're standing out for the completely wrong reason. You don't want them to stand out for that reason. You're mocking them when they come up, because it makes absolutely no sense. And when the slow-mo scenes are actually cool, you're annoyed at them at that point. So I'm not saying that the movie is entirely visually bad, because there are some shots that are really cool and epic and grand, but it's cool for cool's sake. The movie is messy. If you watched my reaction trailer to the official trailer of this movie, the part 1, that's exactly what I thought this movie was going to be. Is what it was. The teaser trailer I did like. That felt cool. The world felt cool, but the way it's executed could have been a whole lot better. And I'm not saying the movie is entirely bad. There were some cool moments. I mean, the acting could have been better. Here I am going with the negatives again. The acting could have definitely been better. But there are some cool fight scenes. Like there was this fight scene. They go onto this planet. There's some fight scene with the spider lady. I like the design of the spider lady. A little cool. I don't know why nobody was helping out in the fight. Everybody's just standing and watching. But there were cool moments. And that's the thing. It's that my issue with the DCEU, it's like surface level cool moments. And there's not much substance. And if there was substance, it wasn't translated well enough for me to feel anything. Because I don't care to watch part two. I am not invested in the story. I'm not invested in the characters. I don't care. Let me know if you guys feel the same way. And I think that's partly due to the acting, like I mentioned. Like the main character, I don't buy her delivery. But that's partly due to the acting, due to the writing, the flow of the story. It could have been better. All right, let's jump back to some more positives. That whole taming sequence, the taming of that griffin-looking animal that we saw in the trailer, that was cool. Like I said, visually, there are some shots, there are some scenes in this movie that are cool. Like, again, the slow-mo was there. Like, it might have been, I don't remember, but it might have been used well in that scene. But the way it was used predominantly in this movie left a sour taste in my mouth. So any of the good moments of slow-mo, it kind of is tarnished. The main character's backstory was interesting. It was compelling. It was kind of, I don't know, I feel like I've seen that story multiple times. But it was good. I don't know what's up with Zack Snyder and his Messiah metaphors. We're seeing more Messiah metaphors in this one. There's a princess in this movie called Princess Isa. And from what I understand, in the Quran, Jesus is called Isa. And she brings his bird back to life. And there's a story, I think it is in the Quran as well, and also in some apocryphal texts, where Jesus brings a bird to life. I think in the Quran it was a clay bird that he brought to life. So you have that metaphor, that imagery right there. So I'm curious if that's going to be our force sensitive being in the show. It didn't honestly remind me of that, of a force user. She was something, it felt like she was something different, you know? She reminded me of like the royal bloodline in Attack on Titan or something like that, you know? Not like a force sensitive person, because there's a whole bunch of different Jedi. She felt a bit more special, like her blood, something was in her blood that made her that way. I don't know. Also, speaking of the bloodline, I think this is the part that actually interests me. There was this android that looked like kind of like Zenyatta from Overwatch, and she served the royal bloodline, right? And he sort of had this connection with this girl from that original village. So I'm thinking like, hey, is that girl, does she have like royal blood, or what's going on? Because they focused on her quite a bit. I guess that was a bit interesting. There was a betrayal at the end of the movie. I didn't really care. I like I said, the characters, I didn't connect with any of the characters. So any big twist or anything like that, I'm not going to feel it, because the movie failed to set up that foundation for me. By the end of the movie, there was a scene that could have been pulled directly out of the Matrix. So you can clearly see the influence Zack Snyder had in this. I think he wrote it, he produced it, he directed it. You know, he pulled the Tommy Wiseau with The Room on this one, you know? And I thought giving Zack Snyder free reign is the way for it to go, is the way to go, you know, after watching that teaser trailer. But looks like it's still messy. I don't know, man. This movie wasn't for me. I mean, actually, it was. It should have been perfect for me. After watching that teaser trailer, it should have been perfect for me. This style, I mean, the genre, just what I saw, it should have been perfect for me. But the execution was just so bad. The CG was bad. The acting was bad. Some of the character, dude. This movie, all this drama in this movie started off by the dumbest decision this character made. The guy played Dario in Game of Thrones. What are you thinking, dude? But that's it for my thoughts, man. Zack Snyder needs to stay away from Star Wars. I'm glad Lucasfilm turned this down, because I think this movie was a mess. And I'm sad to say it, because I was excited for this. Netflix is all in. They're making games, they're making graphic novels, they're making another one. I hope in time, this world, as it's fleshed out, as the characters are fleshed out, it does well, because it does seem interesting. The world does seem interesting. But this movie was not it. This was not it, man. All right. What did you guys think about the movie? Let me know down below in the comment section. If you guys watched it, let me know. If you guys haven't watched it, are you going to watch it? It was a waste of time in my opinion, but that's my opinion. So let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.